brother, he's going to be getting married soon, and so excited for him. You know, I'm really happy. Uh, However, I'm having difficulties with it because um, him and we're half brothers. You know, him and our his mother and I do not get along at all. You know, and if I go back to Texas, you know, I don't want to, um, I really don't want to see her, you know, because old emotions will start flooding back, and you know, I may not be the best guest at the wedding.
Okay. Now, why do you think you may not be the best guest at the wedding?
I just think that, you know, the way she, her actions towards me, I don't feel like are genuine, you know? Like, I've always felt that she was a little bit jealous from me because I'm the firstborn, and, you know, and then her children came, and I always felt that she always tried to overrule me with her kids. You know, she tried to put them in front of me. And she has, you know, she's always tried to take my dad away, you know, from me, and, you know, put her sons in front, you know.
Okay. Now, can you tell me a little bit more about how did that happen when when your dad married her? How did that take place? How old were you? And can you tell me a bit more?
I was about 5 years old,
Okay.
you know. I was fairly young, and um, I went away for a while to go see my mom, and I came back, and my dad's like, "Here's your new mommy," and I'm like, "That can't be my mom because I just left my mom,"
Okay.
you know. So I felt that from the first day, just the way they approached me, you know, was wrong. You know, and I didn't feel like she genuinely took me in, you know. I always felt a disconnect with her.
So it sounds like as a child, when you were 5 years old and all these changes took place, you felt confused.
Yeah, I did feel confused. I felt confused, and I felt, you know, that now that I get older, you know, I realized that I felt betrayed, you know, that I have this new lady in my life that I had no idea existed, and she was basically just thrown at me, you know.
Okay. Now, how long were your stepmother and your father together before they had kids, before your step brothers came along?
A year.
Okay.
You know, it was right after they got married. A year they had their first child.
And can you tell me a little bit more about the relationship she had with you before she had children and after she had her own children?
She was very authoritative. You know, she very strict. You know, before she had a child, and after she had the child, it's like as if I didn't even exist. You know, it was all about her child, her son. You know, and I mean, you know, being that I was young, I mean, I loved the baby, you know, because it's my baby brother, you know, yeah. So, but she always tried to keep a wall between us, you know, so that we would never be close, so that there would always be a disconnection, and to try to make him feel like he was better than me, instead of, you know, allowing me to like grow up in that environment, you know, as a young child, you know. I didn't feel any love or connection, nothing, you know. So it's just it took away from my childhood. She took it away from my childhood.
So I'm hearing that family is important to you and your father is very, very important to you, but you feel like you disconnected from him because of his new family and his new wife and his new children who are your stepbrothers?
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, I think families, you know, is very important, and you know, now that I'm older, children, and I see how their behavior is when a parent, they ignore them or don't give them the attention that's necessary, or don't give them the love or the compassion they're supposed to. And I see that because I can actually feel, what's done when I look at another child who went through the same thing I went through. And then I look at other children, who've actually received that kind of love and that kind of attention, and I feel that was taken away from me because she wanted to direct that more to her kids by bringing his attention more.
Now, do you feel like because she gave more attention to your brothers, did that hinder the relationship between you and your brothers?
The relationship between my brother and I is strong, because we grew up together. He always looked up to me because, I never ever made him feel like, he was my stepbrother. I always took him everywhere I went. I taught him everything I knew. Like, it was like a mini me, for me, and for him, he looked up to that because, when you're living in the same household and you show your sibling that love, and you don't show them that you're jealous or anything like that, that's how they're going to grow up. They're going to grow up feeling that, you're very close. So we're close to a certain point, but when it comes to his mom, him and I don't see eye to eye. And I don't think he understands where I'm coming from because he's never actually felt that himself.
Of course. Now, I'm sensing that because you value relationships and family so much, you didn't allow that barrier that your stepmom tried to put between you and her, and you and your brothers. You didn't let that hinder the relationship that you have with your brothers.
Absolutely not. Despite her actions and where she was going with what she was doing, I didn't allow her to take that away from me. And on top of that, she was always gone, so I was the one that was babysitting. And when your mother is not there the majority of the time because she's either going to school or she's shopping or whatever it is, and she just throws the kids at you, they actually look at you more of a parent than anybody else because you had a big part of them growing up. So despite, what she tried to do between us, we had a deeper relationship because of the time that we spent with each other,
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about your relationship with your father?
My father and I, we have a weird relationship, when we're in front of his wife, he's not as open with me as if he is when we're alone. I don't know if he doesn't want to show that in front of his wife because he doesn't want to feel that hostility between, him choosing me or him giving me the attention over her son, or if this is just a condition that he's, grew up with, being that, because we weren't allowed to have a relationship with me growing up, maybe that's how it is right now, So, when I speak to him, I barely talk to him for more than 3 minutes, and we hang up. Sometimes we have a good conversation, sometimes we have a genuine conversation, but I don't think that if I need something, I will go straight to my dad and ask him for it because I don't have that kind of relationship with him.
So I'm hearing that your stepmom's the relationship with you and her attitude towards you didn't affect the relationship you currently have or you've had with your brothers, but it did affect tremendously the relationship you have with your father.
Sure, because I kind of hold it against my dad. I have that resentment that he allowed a woman to come between him and I. And it kind of affects me now because I don't allow ladies to tell me what to do in my life, you know. So it's affected me a lot with my relationships, you know, with ladies that have come into my life, you know. But yeah, my relationship with my brother is, you know, it's very close, you know. And my dad, he sees the kind of relationship that my brother and I have, and he loves that we have that kind of relationship. But I do see that my dad, he holds back a lot when he sees me in the same presence as his wife.
Okay. So I'm sensing that you hold it against your dad that he let his wife be in the middle of the relationship that he could have with you as a son and father. As to like you were able to overcome that opponent when she tried to, you know, be in the middle of you and your brothers.
Yeah, I still hold that against him. You know, I've expressed the way I felt to him a couple times, but I guess for him it's different because he didn't really grow up with a mother or father. So you know, I don't know if it's the way he grew up or if that's how he feels about it or if he knows. I mean, sometimes I just get a weird vibe from him. I don't know. I'm confused on his approach, you know. But I do know that he loves me dearly, you know, and I love him too. It's just I don't like his wife.
Okay.
I don't care for her at all. So I'm afraid of going over there and running into her and, you know, her make me feel that way, and me being older now, I mean, I don't accept anybody to make me feel like anything. You know, if I don't like the environment I'm in, I just leave. You know, I don't even give anybody the pleasure of making me feel uncomfortable.
Okay. So now, I also heard that because of your past experiences with your stepmom and what you saw between the relationship of your father and her, how that intervened and influenced with your relationship with your father, that kind of thrives the relationship that you try to have with women right now?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's that insecurity of feeling that, you know, that trust that almost every lady that comes into my life, you know, if she tries to change me, you know, then she's just like her. You know, she's just like my stepmom, because my stepmom has changed my dad. Before she came into the picture, I had a great relationship with my dad, and after she came into the relationship, things have changed. So it's like, you know, anytime I have a relationship with a young lady, you know, I feel like that when she tries to make suggestions, you know, on how I can better myself, I take it the wrong way and feel like that they're just trying to change me. And I'm like, you know, bump that, I'm not into this, you know, maybe you should just find somebody else. And I just walk away from it.
So let me make sure that I'm understanding what you've said. You're saying that you do love your dad dearly, and that you have a good relationship with your stepbrothers, but your stepmom hindered the relationship you have with your dad ever since your childhood years.
Yeah.
Because she tried to overrule him, and she put you down before her own children, tried to raise her children, and they came before you because she felt kind of jealous because you were the firstborn.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how I feel. You know, I feel that because I was the first, that she can't ever accept that her children were not the first. And you know, in my culture, when somebody tries to call my dad, you know, they don't call him by his first name. They call him father of, and then they put my name. So when she hears that, it kind of upsets her a lot, and it triggers her to go into a rage because it's not the father of her son's name. It's the father of my name, you know? So, yeah.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about your mom? You've talked a lot about your dad and your stepbrothers and your